welcome everyone. Thank you so much for dialing in. Welcome to our the first of our lunchtime sessions. These are the webinars. I'm Rob Webben. I kind of cringe a little bit every time I say it, but I kind of like it as well. So we're sticking with it, and we're trading 15 minutes of your precious time in return for the opportunity to hear something incredible from someone amazing in our network. And today that's Kate Strong. Kate is one of our latest ambassadors on the Prescott team. I met you in London, didn't I, Kate, just a couple of months back for the Better Business Act Day, and it felt instantly like there's a really good chemistry, and it feels like you are for sure part of the team and part of the vision of where Prescott's going. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to you to give a bit of an introduction to yourself, all the cool things you've done, which are numerous, and then we'll start getting into a bit more of the discussion around what you're proud of, things that you really want to talk to the community about.
Okay, seeing we've got 15 minutes, I'll summarize myself in a 20-second summary. I've got 3 world records I broke last year on a static bicycle. I was age group world champion in triathlon in 2014, only after starting the sport 12 months prior, and competed for Australia, even though I'm born in Wales. I've got 3 degrees in engineering, from environmental to double masters in mechanical engineering. Speak multiple languages, love being a nomad. You'll usually find me in a field, barefoot, running around, trying to hug trees or count insects. So there's also a little bit of crazy in me as well.
Oh, I love that. I love a bit of crazy. And I mean, just that list of achievements is quite ridiculous, Kate. And you could have just stopped there and just been like, yeah, I'm good. I've done my 3 degrees. I've raced for Australia. I've got my world records. Yeah, it makes me feel a bit inadequate. But I'm so excited to hear more about that experience, or particularly, so today you want to talk about Challenge 3000?
Yeah, let's talk about the future, because the past we can't change.
Tell us. What's the deal behind Challenge 3000?
Gosh, it was under a tree, so you can always blame trees for problems and solutions and things that I come up with. I decided to embark next year on a 3,000-mile cycle around the coastline of England, Scotland and Wales on a bike I'm making out of bamboo pieces. And the entire intention behind that is to get in the conversation of climate change, what it is, how we can get in action, what activities are actually having impact on moving that dial. And the reason I chose the locations is because I call it the red zone. If and when we reach that 1.5 degrees centigrade temperature increase, these areas I'm visiting will not exist because they will be underwater. So I'm calling it like the combat zone of climate change, because this is real and these communities are going to be impacted. So I want to find the truth. I'm doing it on my bike with a tent and just leaning on the hospitality of the entire community of Britain to house and feed me as I plod along on my journey of exploration.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. It's terrifying, isn't it? It's terrifying. Do you know, for the most part, I find it just really too scary to consider, you know, in much detail. I've got young kids, and that for me is, you know, a worry of the future. We are probably going to get to 1.5. We all know that, really. But it's about, what I do find really positive is that there are people like yourself, many people really kind of tackling the climate solutions. And okay, we are where we are, but what can we do about it? So tell me, in terms of how adventures like this, or specifically in this one, how will you be helping to start that conversation? With who? What's your aim with it?
Well, for one, I just want to say I don't know the answers, and like even a couple of days ago, every day there's a day there isn't a moment I don't cry, because I just don't know, and it is overwhelming. And the only thing I can do is apply what I do best, which is just do something, just get in action. And for me, physical pain is a huge release for me to deal with what's going on in my head. So just do a lot of pain things, such as cycling 3,000 miles. And I'm just finding communities that either haven't started this journey and finding out with them what's important to them, but also reaching out to like charities who are rewilding seagrass, why have they chosen that, and exploring that, how we can sort of plant native flowers more and make sure we're protecting the bees and the bugs and the soil. So for me, I don't know what I'm going to be doing or how I'm going to be doing it, or even just walks along the beach picking up plastic. But isn't that exciting? Like every one of these activities is going to help do something. And all I'm doing around Challenge 3000 is just what you're doing here, meeting amazing people, hearing what they're doing and seeing how I can apply it into my life. So for me, it's purely a journey of hope, and it's a very selfish journey.
Well, it's not selfish actually, because if you can tell that story and if you can get more people to engage, then it really isn't selfish. But it is it is important to get stuck into something and just be doing something. Like the antidote to hopelessness is action, for sure. So I went to a brilliant event just on Tuesday, just gone, with a bunch of people who are in Rewilding the Sea and the Land. Next week, quick plug for next week, we're speaking to Jan from Heal, and the conversation is around rewilding the land. But Kate, I've got a bunch of people who I will send you from that conversation on Tuesday for people to visit, and I'll actually broadcast that to everyone on this list and further as well, because there's some really inspirational people doing some great stuff. I love kelp and seagrass and all, rewilding. So yeah, it's not all hopeless. It's just we often get only the hopeless messages.
Yeah. And we can't do it alone. You know, to quote Greta, the house is burning. Like, we are all, you know, if my neighbour's struggling, I'm struggling. So it's about connecting and just holding hands and going, it's okay to be afraid, but let's work together.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it in a terrifying way.
Amazing. I love it. And now, one thing about cycling, it's got this slightly kind of juxtaposition of, right, it's environmental, isn't it, because I'm cycling, but then look at all the gear we use, and your carbon bike or your steel frame, whatever, with emissions, and then the clothing and all these things. Tell me a little bit about how you're doing this, because I know it's a little bit different.
Well, for one, that's why I've reached out to you and Presca, and that's why I'm really proud to be wearing my Presca kits, because I know that is is it carbon positive or carbon neutral?
Climate positive, yeah. So we calculate all the emissions, offset them, and we plant trees as well.
So absolutely amazing. Like, you're doing it right at the beginning, but you're also offsetting. So we're looking at it from both ends. And for my bike, I decided to build it out of bamboo and use hemp fabric for the joints areas and bind it all together. It's a pain in the arse, I've got to say. It's taken me 3 months and I still haven't finished it. And I've got no more nails and no more knuckles left from all the sanding. But we have to disrupt the status quo of thinking, oh well, we've always done it this way. So my makeshift bamboo bike, which hopefully will be able to be ridden, will just engage conversation in, like, how else can we do this? We've got to stop doing the pattern because it's usual and because of their legacy, and really do that. So my bamboo bike will be challenging people in, like, let's make it fun and let's learn a new skill. And it's okay. We don't need nails, really. They're just there for aesthetics.
I love that. I really like the idea of building a bike, but there's something cool about building a bamboo one. So, I mean, how's that process been? It's a kit you bought, right?
Yeah, I used it from the Bamboo Bicycle Club based in London. Obviously, the 6 components of the frame are all bamboo, and it's given me a whole level of appreciation of bicycles. I still don't know the names of the pieces. There's a circle bit, and then there's the handle bit, and then there's something I sit on. Like, I'm terrible. But isn't it amazing to, like, I made this. I've called it Mowgli. So me and Mowgli are going to go on a journey, and I just love it. It's a breathing, living. It's my baby. I don't have children, so now I have a Mowgli.
And so 3 months is a process, right? Mm-hmm. And when you sit in it for the first time, it's going to feel amazing, I'm sure. What's left to finish? Because I guess you've got your frame, bamboo frame. You buy in the components, just standard components, or are they specialized?
Yeah. Regular, regular. Because the frame actually holds the most carbon impact. If you want it holds the most climate impact. So That's why I'm not too concerned about my wheels not being out of bamboo. So the components are being fit this week. And then I'll be able to test it next month with you, actually, because you're joining me for part of the tour that my partner and I are embarking on. So we're cycling around Tour de Wales, so a mini tour, just to make sure that she doesn't disintegrate or melt in the rain or something, or grow a shoot somewhere.
Amazing. And you're looking for people to come along on the 9th, right?
Yeah. On the Saturday, the 9th of July, it's sponsored by Presca. We're holding a free cycle from Swansea to Cardiff, which is 70 kilometres, or you can join us at Cowbridge, which is 25k, and it's in aid of mental health charity, but also for us to get out, connect, meet the bike, and have some fun together.
Amazing. I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait. Super exciting. Okay, so we've got 5-ish minutes left. Great. For budding adventurers out there, budding explorers, people want to do micro adventures all the way up to kind of, crazy things like you. What are the 3 vital pieces of equipment that you would say you must have these things? Bike, obvs.
No, I would just say that mindset, can-do attitude. I don't need to know anything. I have a phone and I will call people and say, can you help me? Do you know so and so? And that's exactly what I'm doing. So one is definitely make sure that you have a mindset and an open attitude to reach out to people. Equipment wise afterwards, to protect your body. If you are chafing, hurting or anything, make sure that you have creams, ointments, lotions to prevent that getting worse. Maybe that's from my legacy of last year, sitting on a static bike for 24 hours and that being the pain beyond. And yeah, the third thing, gosh, I think it's nutrition. Make sure you've got a effective, long-term burning fuel that doesn't just sort of give you the high and then the low crash afterwards. So make sure that you've got whole food, obviously plant-based stuff that burns for as long as possible. It's not maybe what you expected, but yeah, those are the 3 things I would suggest.
That's great. No, that's great. I don't think I expected anything, to be honest. It was it's one of those open questions. You could have gone far and wide with the answer. So it's great to get your perspective on it. And I know this isn't a talk about looking back, but out of everything you have done so far, do you have a proudest achievement? Something you really think, yeah, I'm stoked about that.
It's the day I started running in 2012. I'd just been literally dumped 6 days before a wedding by my partner of 9 years. It was a very, very toxic relationship, and I didn't have any faith or self-belief in me, and I had to run the business afterwards all by myself because I wanted to make sure the debt was paid off, so I wouldn't give up on the company. And it was the night that I just found a head torch, found my trainers, and went for my first 200-meter run. I couldn't do any further, but that was the day I started to believe in myself again and stop putting everything ahead of me. So that Kate, who overcame all of the reasons why she hadn't been running for 9 years and not caring about herself, that was the moment I'm like, good on you, girl. Well done.
Transformational. Oh, I love that. That's making me feel a bit emotional. Just listen to that. Good on you. Yeah, good on you. And that's led to so many incredible things since. Well done. I love that. So, right, time's nearly up. Every week we're going to be asking the same 3 quick-fire questions of everyone, if you don't mind. So, Kate, what does community mean to you?
Community means forgiveness, acceptance, and love for self and also others.
Incredible. And why should we be caring about the climate? I mean, this is obviously very personal to you.
Because we are part of the climate. Because if the climate is hurt, I am hurt. If the climate is struggling, I struggle. If the climate can't deliver effectively, I can't do what I want. So I am part of the climate, and that's why we need to care about everything that is interconnected within that.
I couldn't agree more. And in terms of, like I said, there's bad news all the time, climate, environment related, as well as many other things. But what makes you feel positive? What makes you get out of bed to say, yeah, we can do this. I can do this. What makes you positive?
Because now's the time humans have to realize how friggin' strong we are. We were so powerful, we've created this massive problem that we think is insurmountable. We need to get over ourselves and find the solutions. That's the only thing. This has to be the transformational moment for humanity. We don't have a choice in that, and we have to stop thinking egoic win-lose and move into self, win-win, collaboration, all the words that are on your website, ironically, as well, Rob. This is the time for humanity to actually stand up and shine and show us what it means to be human, and it's going to be beautiful. So humanity is my hope and my savior.
Fantastic. Oh, great. Thank you. Kate, thank you. That's 15 minutes. So before we clock off, can you just tell our audience and people who will be listening after the event how they can find out more about you and your challenge is, should they wish to learn more?
Yeah, on web, I'm quite social. So Instagram and LinkedIn are my usual favorites. My handle is katestrong01. I also have a website, katestrong.global, where you can find out about Challenge 3000, Tour de Wales, and getting involved that way. And I'd love to hear from you, to hear what you're up to as well.
Brilliant. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Kate. You're a legend. Thank you. Right, so that's it. That's the first one done. We've learned from Kate that a can-do attitude and a phone is all you need to go adventuring, basically. That it's all about community, right? The solutions to the challenges, the terrible situation we are getting ourselves into is community, collaboration, and a good dosing of positive attitude as well. So, Kate, thank you. I've loved hearing more from you. It's brilliant to connect again. Thank you for being the first of our lunchtime session attendees. It's brilliant. Thank you. If you've enjoyed today's session, then I'd definitely recommend you dial in for next week. So we've got Jan Stannard from Heel Rewilding. So she's doing amazing things. She's got this aim to rewild 500 acres in every county in England. Really positive, incredible woman, incredible vision. So definitely dial in for that one. Yeah, until then, have a great weekend. Go and hit the trails, go running, cycling, just spend out time with your family, outdoors, whatever's good for you. But thank you so much for dialing in. Really appreciate you coming in to listen, and any feedback, the more the better, please. Thanks very much. Take care.